And Fox News tapping into voter sentiment in Iowa and finding that many are deeply dissatisfied with the direction of the country and with the way that the government functions. A stunning 89% favored substantial change or complete and total upheaval of the way the government works in our voter analysis. That's for just in Iowa. So now on why many Americans are feeling this way and whether or not it's going to extend past Iowa, Fox News political analyst Newt Gingrich, former House Speaker and author of Defeating Big Government Socialism, Saving America's Future. Newt, always good to have you with us. The title of your book, which we know well, suggests that you think this is something more than just a one-off among Iowa voters in this country.
Well, we have a project called the America's New Majority Project, where we've been doing polling since 2018. It's very clear that the gap between the elites and the rest of the country is enormous and getting bigger. The American people, and this showed up in Iowa, the American people are very worried about millions and millions of illegal immigrants. The American people are worried about the number of people dying from drug overdose. The American people are worried about crime. They're worried about going to the grocery store and not being able to afford things or going to fill up their car. 6% of the country wants to buy an electric car. The Biden administration wants to coerce everyone into buying an electric car. So all these things are compounding. And what you're seeing is people are saying, this ain't working. They're both rejecting the performance failure and they're rejecting the radical values. And I think that's going to lead to a very big change election this fall.
So, you know, we heard earlier when we were watching a clip from The View and the Vice President Kamala Harris was on there, you know, telling people how scared and frightened she is for the future of the country. This was interesting, too, coming from Mitt Romney, senator from Utah and former presidential candidate, obviously, and nominee of the party. He says, as a Biden campaign theme, I think the threat to democracy pitch is a bust. He goes on to say January 6th will be 4 years old by the election. People have processed it one way or another. Biden needs fresh material, a new attack, rather than kicking a dead political horse. What did you think of that comment? And do you think he's right?
Well, I think Mitt Romney has it just about exactly right. I mean, there's something pathetic about Biden going to, for example, make a Valley Forge speech, which they postponed because the weather was too bad, while thousands of people were going out to vote in Iowa in a very cold night. It tells you the difference. You know, the Democrats are engaged in sort of shadow plays. If you ask the average American, are they more worried about the Democrats destroying democracy or the Republicans? I think you'll be surprised how many pick the Democrats. And you look at Biden's Justice Department, you look at all these multiple lawsuits against Donald Trump. You look at the number of people being prosecuted over going to the Capitol compared to no one being going after in terms of the riots 2 years ago. I think the average American thinks Washington's corrupt, that it's dangerous, that it's out of control, and that's Biden and the Democrats. And that's why I think you're seeing, even among Latinos, African Americans, Asian Americans, steady shift towards Trump and away from the Democratic Party.
We'll see what happens in New Hampshire. I love that you made the point about the weather because, you know, there was this big walkout that was scheduled to happen in protest of the White House's take on and support for Israel. But then they didn't do it because they had a snow day. I mean, it just kind of tells you how strong, how fiercely they feel about that, right? Now we're not going to protest. We're going to take a snow day.
Right. Look, you can't expect liberals who are soft on everything to suffer bad weather, but I agree with Speaker Johnson. Anybody who walks out on the government should be fired.
Okay. Speaker Newt Gingrich, always good to have you, sir. Thank you very much for joining us today. We'll see you soon.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.